Hello and welcome to another episode where I start by apologizing for wearing the same glasses again. I shall
Unbelievable.
do better.
You had one
Let's
job.
focus on more bright things because it's another week and we found another friend. And our friend this week is Barbara, whom I've actually never met. So, Barbara, it is really nice meeting you. For
Nice to
those
meet you.
like me that have never met you, would you like to introduce yourself real quick, maybe?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Barbara Forbes, and I'm from the Netherlands. I work as the Azure Technical Lead for a company called OGD. It's an IT provider. And I am an Azure MVP. I'm a GitHub star. And yeah, my focus is on Azure mostly. Pretty much everything technology and PowerShell, of course.
Nice. So, we talked about this slightly before and also given your introduction just now. You're more from the general Azure slash technology field than specifically from the data field, but there is no way out of this. You have to pick your favorite. So, despite this maybe not being your main focus, I have to ask. I'm sorry. What is your favorite data thingy, Barbara?
All right, so I did a bit of thinking about that. It's not like I never touched data in any way, of course.
Because data's cool,
And
right?
yeah,
Data's the best.
absolutely. Well,
Okay.
the thing that I was thinking about, and I was thinking back, I used to be a system administrator in the world where Azure was not the default and everything was on-prem. And you would get an environment, and there would always be a SQL server for some reason
Mm-hmm.
or another. Maybe it's even a cluster, and you'd get in there with all your server certifications and go, "Whoa, what does this do?" And something weird happens when you touch your first SQL server, and that is suddenly you feel like you're really a professional in some way. You feel like you learn a new trick, and you can't wait to use it for everything. While everyone who actually knows about SQL is like, no, don't do that. Be careful. You're gonna break stuff. And they're like, oh, what does this button do? Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. So you feel like if you understand it or if you can fix it in any way, then you feel like you know everything. And I've seen that happen in environments when they were a little bit bigger. I see it happen when people they learn about, for example, SQL or databases at all, and they start implementing them in their solutions because it feels like, well, if you do this, then you must be a real professional. And especially with PowerShell scripts, it's often really overkill for really small solutions. You know what this solution needs? A SQL database.
You just sprinkle them in, sprinkle those databases in.
And suddenly you're a professional.
Mm-hmm.
And
100%.
I love that. I've been there. I've seen a lot of people do it. I really understand it. I had to clean it up for, for really simple scripts where it was really overkill. But I love that it feels like now I'm in business. And then you mature a bit and then you find out there's so many different kinds of data, of databases, of way to work with the data uh, around your optimization or within your applications. So that's my favorite thing. And that was what I was thinking. This is my favorite thing for a lot of things.
Nice.
I'm
I
getting
think,
so many ideas for stickers here.
oh, good.
Remember the time when Azure was not the default? I like that one. But also, you sprinkle some SQL in, and all of a sudden you're a professional.
Yeah.
That has
I
to be a
think that's what
Sparky
happened
sticker.
to a lot of us, though, right? Like a lot of us were stood near a SQL server and someone was like, it's broken. Can you fix it? And then exactly like what you said, Barbara, you have to like figure it out, do a bit of learning, see what's broken. And then you fix one and you're like, crushed it.
Yeah. I'm a
And
professional
then,
now. I know what
yeah.
I'm doing. Yeah.
But the next problem is 100% different. And now you're like
Yeah.
tuning indexes or something. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah. And I remember it so much from fixing backups on SQL because you're like, okay, you're not a SQL administrator, but you are responsible for the backups. Go fix. And I was like,
It's a big job.
oh, yeah, yeah,
It's an important one.
yeah. So that's I really like it that it suddenly makes you feel like you're a professional and you've got skills.
I like that. I like that. That means we're all professionals here, which is perfect for this podcast.
Absolutely. It suggests
That's
that
another
we know what
sticker.
we're doing.
Exactly, which we totally got.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a stretch for me personally, but I'll just
Oh no,
nod
Ben,
along.
just believe. Just believe.
No, I think that is a big difference to what is happening these days and like a couple of years back. Because most of the people I know that started when we started working in
Hmm.
tech or I don't think I've know anybody, or if so, very few people that were like, okay, I'm going to start my professional career and I want to get into data. Everybody kind of fell in there by accident somehow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas now you have people that leave high school like, I'm going to be a data engineer.
Yeah, that's wild.
That
Yeah.
was, I don't think that was a thing back. So I
It's so
got into
wild
data
to consider.
completely accidentally.
Yeah. I think too the reverse is kind of happening that used to happen, right? Like Barbara, you said you were a systems admin and you had to like learn a bit of databases to get by and fix them. And
Yep.
like all of us that are database administrators, either accidentally or on purpose, are moving into Azure and now need to know about like networking and storage and all this stuff that like surrounds databases that usually a systems person or a network person would do. Now we have to learn more of the like systems part, which is kind of flipped on its head.
Absolutely. You see that happening, and you sometimes see the reverse as well. It's like it's a wave going on.
Hmm.
Like when Azure first started, it was like, yeah, everyone needs to know everything. And then it was, oh no, we still have specializations
Yeah.
within Azure.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of at one point, everyone gets the opportunity to know, to get a taste of other solutions that they're not familiar
Hmm.
with. And it's awesome because you get to see a lot of stuff. But it does require you to not have your expectations too high. I sometimes
Yeah.
have people telling me, yeah, I don't know that much about Azure because I don't know all the services. I say, do you know how
Hmm.
many services there are? Nobody knows all the Azure services.
Yeah.
Microsoft
I think
themselves probably don't. I
yeah,
mean,
for sure.
it's so big.
I think it does make it easier for troubleshooting too though. When we start to learn a bit about the like adjacent services that we depend on, even if we're not experts in them, we can hold like a semi-intelligent conversation with the people that are experts. It gives us kind of a better
Yeah.
overall picture. But
Yeah, we can pretend to understand each other. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, oh yeah, the packets. Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
They're
of
bad.
course. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel for you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. All right. Well, when you're not doing systems admin stuff and some SQL Server professional work, what do you like to get up to in your
I mean,
spare time? What's your,
sprinkling some sequel into
when you're
something.
not sprinkling some sequels in? Yeah. What do you like to get up to in your spare time? What's your favorite non-data thing?
So my favorite thing, you're talking to stuff about that's not work. I'm so confused. Is that a thing? No, no, that's.
People tell us.
I always
It's
love
all made up.
to visit new places.
Hmm.
So just grab the car and be like, oh, let's go to a museum. Let's go to an amusement park. Let's go to the park. And especially stuff that sounds like they're really lame. I'm like, someone thought it was a good idea, so I need to find out if it actually is.
I like it.
And I just had the best example. I just got back from Greece, and there was an Odysseus theme park
Okay.
with animals. And I was like, this sounds horrible. I want to see what it is. It
So
was,
theme park slash zoo.
yeah,
Okay.
slash petting zoo, sort of. They were like,
Okay.
look, this is a horse. Look, we have a goat.
Okay.
They actually showcased dogs. It was awesome, and they had figurines everywhere. Like this is Odysseus, and pretty much what I learned is that everyone around Odysseus died, except himself, and
Okay.
and that the friends of Odysseus, what they did when they could go everywhere and slaughter all the animals. That was basically what they did everywhere. And the
Perfect.
figurines were so ugly, and and I loved it. I just love that kind of stuff, like where you think this is really lame. I'm gonna find out if it actually is really lame.
And the
So,
verdict was?
This was really lame, and I'm really glad that I went.
so first of all, I
Perfect.
was kind of getting that sense, but I have a question. So, there is this Greek guy that slaughtered everybody. Well, everybody around him died. He slaughtered all the animals, so they decided to theme a theme park after him that is also a petting zoo.
I know, right?
Interesting concept.
And
This makes total sense.
I must say
It is
this
a
is
weird sense of
also
humor.
this is Greek mythology, so it's also like, so here we have this one guy, and then we have 20 other people whose name we're gonna mention. Like it completely makes sense.
Yeah, and remember all of them.
Yeah, and they were all related in some way or not, and
Perfect.
they all hated each other or not. The figurines
Perfect.
were awesome for this.
That may be part on why they all died. Now that I
Yeah.
think of it, now it's coming together
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
nicely.
Yeah, check that out in the show notes if you want to visit.
Absolutely, I can link this.
5 stars. Great.
I recommend this to everyone. I love this
Sprinkle
kind of
some
stuff.
animal slaughtering theme park in there, and you
Sequels,
look like
animal
real
slaughter.
Odysseus.
But it
could
also
go wrong?
feels like someone's mother was in charge of the figurines. Like someone has a big project there and is probably really proud, and it's like a real low budget thing. Yeah, I love this kind of stuff. People are so happy with this. And you have this
Amazing.
everywhere. Everywhere you're like, I always like, if I'm in a new place, take the weirdest thing you can find on TripAdvisor.
Is there a
So
specific tag on TripAdvisor for this?
No, you have to
Weird.
make an effort.
You have to dig, right? Okay.
You just sort it by rating in reverse, and
In
then
reverse.
you could...
There it is.
Especially if
okay.
it's actually in the top 10. In another Greek island I went to, they're like, this is an old olive tree. And that was it. This is just an old tree. Okay, we're gonna visit. And that's what it was. It was a really old tree. It was really ugly.
Okay, perfect.
what I'm hearing is you're picking places that you're kind of expecting to be disappointed by, and then you're getting disappointed by it, but due to your own expectation management, you're not as disappointed as it would have been if you had gone there with high expectations. Does that make sense?
Probably, but no, I really like that stuff. And sometimes you get real gems. Sometimes
Yeah, I'm sure.
it's so much fun. Like, I went to a petting zoo thingy where basically this was just a happy family who put a bunch of animals in one place. They were all walking around, and it was like, here you have some lettuce and you can feed it to them, but be careful of the goose because it will steal it from you. And how
That is
awesome
the
is this?
headline of this
Yeah.
episode. Be careful of the goose. That is solid life advice for any day, really.
And you are surprised sometimes. Sometimes these things are really fun, and I am a sucker for people putting their life passion into practice, even if it's an Odysseus theme park. Someone felt like the world needed that.
Yeah, and it
you know
did
what?
because
We
you went
did.
there and you were happy.
Yeah, the world needed an Odysseus theme park.
Perfect.
Oh, need is a strong word sometimes, but I see where you're going with this. I assume that all this travel and sightseeing and petting animals and all that probably makes you hungry from time to time. So that takes us to our last question. I'm petting myself. Good job. Very
Nice,
good segue.
nice bridge.
Crushed
Yeah,
it.
very smooth.
So, what's your favorite food, Barbara?
All right, so I am just a sucker for candy, sweets in any way. I always like when people are like, you have the saying, you are like a kid in a candy store. I'm like a kid in a candy store when I'm in a candy store.
Perfect.
That's basically it. I want sugar, I want artificial coloring, and awesome. And it's also one of my favorite things to search for when you go to another country. See what kind of sweets do they have. And the British have actually really good sweets that are hard to get in the Netherlands.
True story. What's your favorite?
I always have to get jelly babies.
Oh yeah,
which we can get if we really try, but like it's everywhere. We're not used to it.
What jelly babies? Is that like jelly beans or?
They're more shaped soft. Like babies.
Yeah.
Now I say this out loud, it's weird, but they're like tiny babies and they're like really soft. They're not chewy really at all. They're like there's actually a bag.
Babies are usually not chewy. They're usually soft, but
yeah.
I mean,
and actually, I'm pretty sure if you like set fire to them, they scream.
I've never tried that. I feel like we try this for science. But you have jelly babies. I like Revels a lot.
Oh yeah, the Revels are good.
Yeah,
those are like mysteries because there's about 5 different chocolate sweets in one pack, and some of them are crunchy and some of them are not.
Yeah, and you always have
break your teeth.
And you have your favorites, and you need to try to save those for last because you always have the best for last. So you try to find out the system. So
Yeah.
stuff like that. Just really the creative candy. I really like that.
Nice. Very cool.
I'm still
Good
kind of in
choices.
shock that we are talking about how soft it is to eat babies and everything.
I'm gonna send you a
And
picture after this, Ben. You're gonna fall in love with them. I'll
It's
bring you some next
it's
time we're together. They are really good.
it's less gross than you suspect from the
Yeah.
name jelly babies.
or from the description I just got.
Yeah, the description wasn't great. Yeah. But if you can look past the fact that you're eating babies, they're delicious.
And that they scream when you put them on fire. Yeah, I totally see
Yeah.
how that is not
yeah.
creepy at
Maybe
all.
I shouldn't have added that bit in, but yeah. Today you learned. So there you go.
Yeah, and when
Yeah.
you're in the Netherlands, I always recommend to try licorice. Although we grew up with it, so I love it. But I am still confused that this is mostly a Dutch thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Nice.
No.
they're really good.
I'm not confused that this didn't make it out of the Netherlands. Keeping that in a small contained country and not spreading it is I'm okay with that.
It tastes so good. And you know how many different kinds we have. Like, I don't understand when someone says, I don't like licorice, because there's like a zillion different kinds and they don't taste alike. So maybe that when
Maybe I need to
we have
educate
something
myself.
in the Netherlands, then maybe we should like have a tastery where we have all different kinds of licorice. And because licorice get judged. It's not fair. There's so many. There's like sweet, there is salty. There's so many different kinds. They all have a different structure. So I think I need to make a point out of this. I need to. I find my new
You
goal in
should.
life.
Because my point would have been they all taste the same, they all taste meh, and so far all the licorice I've tried, it's not like I kept trying it because after like a couple of tries I was like, okay, no. I see your point because it's kind of when people say like, oh, I don't like cheese. My point is always like, yeah, but hang on, there's a gazillion
Exactly.
types of
Tried
different
all of the
cheeses, or
cheese.
I don't like fish. Well, a canned tuna is not the same thing like a fresh
Mhm.
grilled salmon steak as. So I
Yeah,
see your point. I'm trying to keep an open mind here, so I'm very much looking forward to
that's
that
all I'm asking
licorice
for.
and automation event that you're going to set up in the Netherlands. That is what I've heard. You heard that too, Jazz, right?
Yeah, I heard you there. We'll see you
Perfect.
there.
Yeah, I feel it's needed. I
Amazing.
think the world needs this. It's only fair to licorice. Yeah.
Perfect.
And I'll just bring some stroopwafels to convince
Oh,
everyone.
smart. Smart.
Now we're
That's how you
talking
win us over.
because
To get you in.
You're like, have
I,
a stroop waffle, and then you put the licorice in.
Yeah, or you say you can have it after you have eaten this licorice.
Yeah.
I was almost convinced, and then I remembered one thing from like 10 minutes ago. You think that the world needs this licorice event. Somebody thought the world needs this theme park and this olive tree on
It's gonna
TripAdvisor.
work.
So
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna
found my
work.
calling
it
here. Yeah.
it is coming
Perfect.
together so nicely. I don't know how we could improve on that. And we are also at time. So thank you so
Yep.
much for joining us, Barbara. Learned more
Agreed.
about licorice than I thought I would. At
And
least
jelly babies.
and eating babies and putting them on fire and staying away from the geese.
Yep.
So much to learn, so much to process, so many life choices to make. Anyways, this was fun. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you,
Thank you.
Jess. And we see all of you next week with another friend. Bye.
Cheers, folks.
Bye.